Dakota and Olivia. This is a huge honor. I know you just chatted with my husband, Kevin, a few minutes ago. So now we're in my home. He was at work, but yes, I love the movie so much. I've seen it twice now. We watched it again last night. Your performances as Lita and Nina are unbelievable, so beautiful. I loved watching the chemistry between these two women, and it honestly got me thinking what type of prep work the two of you did in Greece in order to kind of make that push and pull between the two characters, because it was just unbelievable to watch and so unpredictable and anxiety inducing. So Olivia, I want to begin with you. How did the two of you prep for this relationship?
We really just got on very well.
Yeah.
And clearly we trusted each other. Also, what's lovely is Maggie would whisper something in Dakota's ear. So she's playing something and I go, ooh, what's Dakota been told? And I would be told to play something else.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. It's a bit like, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Do you know that programme?
I love that
It's
show.
a bit like that, where you're both having to play something different and guess what it is.
So much.
I love that show too. I totally remember that. Dakota, what were your thoughts on like kind of prepping for that relationship?
We really just love each other. And we spent a lot of time together. And it wasn't one of those movies where in between scenes everyone goes back to their trailers and doesn't talk. We were just like all together all the time.
Yeah. We did sort of walk it. We went around in one big clump.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it seemed like you guys had such a blast, honestly, even over the festivals over the last couple months and filming in Greece. What did the two of you do to unwind after set in Greece? I'm sure you had so much to do, but Dakota, what did you do to unwind?
We would jump in the sea. What did we drink to unwind? We would jump in the sea and drink rosé.
Yes.
Or a Mai Tai. You loved Mai Tais. I do not fuck with Mai Tais. I'm like, what is in this? It's like 10 different kinds of juice.
That's the beauty of it.
I was not into it, but that was fine. And then we would play stupid games.
Yes.
And Olivia taught us the cork game.
Oh, yes.
Remember?
Commander Bibbly Bobs.
Bibbly Bobs?
The one
Commander Bibbly Bobs.
With Ibble Dibbles.
Ibble Dibble.
That's it, sorry.
What's Commander Bibbly Bobs?
I don't know, I have to look it up. I thought that was the one.
Oh yeah, our game, Commander Bibbly Bobs.
Oh my gosh, your guys' friendship is so cute. I'm glad you guys had so much fun. Dakota, I love the Tea Time Pictures Productions Instagram account. I'm always recommending things to my friends and girlfriends, and I'm always finding that I agree with a lot of what you say. I love how you get other actresses to make their recommendations for people as well. I'm curious how you and Ro just decided to make that company and what the inspiration was in order to inspire women's stories told on film and TV.
Thanks so much for asking about that. We don't only tell women's stories, and it's like a female-founded company, but it's not exclusively to female stories. I think I just really want to make good content and truthful content and support up-and-coming directors and writers and actors that are great, and I like the freedom of expression that it allows me. And I'm obsessed with movies and shows, and I find it really difficult to have so many streaming platforms and so many, it's like content overload. So I just thought having a curation of what Tea Time thinks is the best stuff around that month or that week makes it easier to sort of streamline choosing what you wanted to watch.
Brilliant idea.
Thanks.
You haven't told me about this.
I think
A little bit hurt.
I have.
Yeah.
Have I?
Yeah.
It's an amazing account. It's an amazing account. My girlfriends and I always talk about it so much. We love it. I don't want to put the two of you on the spot. I know, Dakota, you're a big cinephile, but I'm interested to because, we have been in a pandemic. I know the two of you have been working, but like have been some of your favorite movies and shows that you've been maybe watching recently in order to wind down? Olivia, I want to begin with you. Anything recent that you've seen so far this year?
I was very behind with Succession. And I'm absolutely obsessed. Also, don't judge me, but I watch quite a lot of not very highbrow telly to unwind. So I've been watching Too Hot to Handle. Have you seen that?
Scandalous.
It's amazing. Oh, well, I had to do quarantine in Ireland for a film, and when my husband's around, we watch much cleverer stuff. But when I'm on my own, no one's. I'll just watch.
Have you ever watched that show Married at First Sight?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh my God, it's
have you seen the
fucking
Australian
crazy.
6th season? Fucking hell. Oh, it's brilliant. Gripping.
It's insane.
It's amazing.
People are crazy.
Absolutely bonkers.
Well, they're cutting me, guys. I appreciate your time so much. This was honestly so much fun to chat with you, and I can't wait for fans to see The Lost Daughter when it's out on Netflix on December 31st. Dakota, I'll see you and Maggie in New York City this weekend for the press conference. Can't wait to see it again. I love you both so much.
Lovely to meet you. What a
Lovely to
beautiful
meet
couple.
you too. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you very much, and you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
This is an honor. I absolutely love this film. I've seen it twice now, and I thought it was so beautiful and honestly just very relatable as a woman. I loved it so much. I love it when women actually get to tell other women's stories. And this is a film and book that slowly peels back the mystery behind Lita's character. And I'm curious how you did that in adapting it from the book, turning it into the movie, and also just like without giving too much away for the audience, how you even began to do this process and write the screenplay.
Well, I think what I responded to in the book to begin with was how truthful she is. You know, it's based on this book by Elena Ferrante, who is anonymous. I mean, maybe she's got to be anonymous because it's sort of dangerous to tell the truth. You know, I think as a culture for so long, we've agreed to be silent about a whole lot of things about our experience as women in the world. And she, in her books, you know, she broke that agreement. And I found it when I read her work really both kind of terrifying because she touches on some really dark things, and also comforting and invigorating. I mean, the truth is always compelling, especially when it's something you're not supposed to say out loud. It's inherently dramatically interesting and important. And so I thought, well, what if instead of being alone in my room reading these truthful things quietly, what if you could put them on the screen in a communal place and actually hear them, actually see them articulated? I thought that would be, you know, like a particularly radical, dangerous thing to try to do. And then I just, you know, you're asking how I did it. I just set about trying to be as honest as I could possibly be.
No, I loved it. And I have the book here. I actually began reading it after I saw the movie. I didn't read it at the beginning. I noticed that, I don't want to give too much away, but the ending of the film is a little different than the book. And I wanted, even with the dialogue, and I wanted to kind of get your perspective on that and why you chose to film the last scene the way that you did.
Well, I mean, many, many things are different in the movie. In fact, I think the movie is definitely in conversation with the book, but I think in order for it to work, it had to become something new, and it had to become mine and Olivia's and Jessie's and Dakota's, and it had to be alive in its own right. So many things are different, tons of things. I mean, many things are left out, you know. But the ending in particular, is basically the opposite of the book. Yeah. And I won't, you know, of course, give anything away. But Ferrante, who I never met her, she's anonymous. Nobody knows who she is. But I've emailed with her. And when she read the script, she said, "I see what you did with the end, and I love it." And even though in a way it's opposite, it's also totally the same, you know? So I don't want to give it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely got the similar vibes from Lita's character. They're wrapping me, but I wanted to say how much I love the movie so much. I also love you in Secretary. Really quick, where do you think Lee would be right now? Do you think that she would still be with Mr. Grey? What do you think your character Lee from Secretary, where would she be right now?
I mean, I don't know. I actually kind of don't think she would still be with him. I was 22 when I made that movie, and so was she. And I think for most people, it's maybe better not to be with the same guy you were with when you were 22. I don't know. I mean, that's a big.
I agree. I mean, I'm not, so. Maggie, I appreciate your time so much. Absolutely love this film. And I will see you and Dakota in New York City this weekend for the press conference. Thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Peter and Paul, this is an honor, first of all, because Garden State's one of my favorite romantic movies of all time. And Paul, as everyone's told you, Normal People is one of the best series of all time. I also loved this movie so much. I watched it twice, and I think what Maggie did was absolutely incredible. I began reading the book last night. So first of all, congratulations to the both of you.
Thank you.
Yes, I absolutely loved it. It looked like you had so much fun filming in Greece. Paul, my first question is for you. I'm curious, working with Maggie as a director, she's an actor herself, and I'm curious what your experience was working with her. She knows what it's like to be on your side of the camera, how that experience was different than working with other directors.
Well, it was my first time on a film set working with Maggie, and I felt like she creates an incredibly supporting atmosphere that's full of creation and inventiveness. I think that's what, or from my perspective, I think that's what Maggie really values, is to invent and not come in with ideas and where you think you should start from, but be free and willing to run with whichever direction the scene kind of naturally decides for itself. And I think that's, to me, what I really, really enjoyed about Maggie's process.
What do you think?
That's always a wild feeling.
I love that. I mean, what's something you think that you took from working with Maggie that you think you're going to apply to your career as an artist from here on out?
I feel like go forth with ease. I think be gentle with your process, but have ideas that are like a strong starting point. And I feel like if you're working with a good director, they'll catch you, I think.
No, I love that. Peter, I was just speaking with Maggie, and she did say that she emailed the author, throughout her screenwriting process. And I'm curious, did she ever bounce any ideas off of you? Did you guys practice dialogue together as she was writing? Did you do anything like that during her creative process?
We are all both up in each other's creative process. I'm working on something now that Maggie is intimately involved in. She works on things, with our acting, with everything, and yet it is entirely hers. Yeah. From everything about it, to the poster, to the everything. Maggie collaborates 100%, and at the same time, it's 100% hers. I don't know how to really explain how that works, but it's really what makes her great.
Yeah, no, I love it. You guys can't see, I have the poster up here. I love it so much. I love Olivia so much. But I am obsessed with that answer. I love how you two work together. Paul, I'm honestly just curious. Normal People is, like I said, one of the best shows of all time. My girlfriends and I talk about it all the time. I think what you and Daisy created was absolutely incredible. I know that was also based on a novel, and just what the process was in, reading the novels and taking that and applying it to your process, how helpful that is.
I feel like the context is slightly different with this, in that with Normal People, Connell and Marianne are the subject, whereas with this, there was more room to create from scratch, and the character in The Lost Daughter is Irish, and that's not the case. And so there was more scope and room to create, whereas I feel like we were more attached to the true versions of the character in the novel and Normal People to the series. So the very different kind of creative processes, I think.
Yeah, I know that Normal People was always going to be, one season, a series, even though people were demanding, more from Connell and Marianne. But I'm curious, what would your hope be for him and his future, and where he would be, 10 years from now after the show, after we last saw him? What would your personal hope be for him?
I'd love him to have books and bookshops and to be a successful writer, and it changes all the time. I'm really not sure what his life would look like 10 years on. It oscillates and changes, but I hope he's living a happy life somewhere.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
Last question for the both of you. Like, the story is very anxiety inducing for a lot of the characters, but it seems like you guys had a blast filming in gorgeous Greece. What did the two of you do to unwind at the end of filming? Peter, I'll begin with you.
We all hung out together. I mean, what did we?
And drink.
We went and had a drink. Yeah. I mean, or stripped off our clothes to our underwear and jumped into the sea.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. There was
Mai Tais. They were
Mai Tais.
That's what Olivia said too. Mai Tais.
Yeah, they were the drink of choice. There was
Simon,
our first
yeah,
lady,
I mean,
guitar player.
Yeah, it was great. It was totally great. My kids were in school until around 10 o'clock at night because they were Zoom school from 3 to 10 because of the time difference.
Mm-hmm.
So, tuck the kids into bed, go run down to the hotel, meet these guys.
It sounded like you guys had a blast. Peter and Paul, I appreciate your time so much, and I cannot wait for audiences to see this film. I think it's a masterpiece, and I love what the two of you created along with Maggie. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jessie, I absolutely love this film. I've seen it twice now. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, and I thought your performance was absolutely incredible. So I just wanted to say congratulations, first of all.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, I absolutely loved it. I thought like your performance was very anxiety inducing at times, just based on how this woman was. She had all of these different layers. And I was honestly just curious on what your conversations were with both Maggie and what conversations you had with Olivia on how to get young Lita so accurately close to the book.
Well, it was kind of simple when the script was so brilliant, that's always the thing that you go back to, and really she's just a woman that we all know, and it was really just about bringing the truth of the women that we know and the women that we are and the women that we might become out, and kind of breaking the chain of pretending that we're anything other than deliciously fucked up, basically.
I love that answer. I love that answer so much. Well, you master every single accent you do, from Fargo to Wild Rose to this. I'm honestly just curious, what kind of tips would you give actors looking to perfect accents like you do? And what preparation did you do for this, for your accent?
Oh, I have no idea. I would never tell anybody to do anything. I don't know. I quite like doing accents. And I always work with somebody who's brilliant. I worked with a woman called Sandra Butterworth on this, who, and really, that was the only conversation I'd had with Olivia, was kind of, where is this woman from? And that was nothing else. We kind of we didn't try and mimic each other in any way or at all. So I just worked with this woman called Sandra Butterworth for a few weeks, and yeah, but I enjoy, it's like, for me, an accent's like kind of a piece of music that you kind of learn, and then I want to absolutely forget about it once I get to shooting. So I don't sting accent or anything when I'm filming. I kind of, come in and out. I don't know.
Yeah. 100%. Well, I'm curious what you did to unwind after set, because, some of these scenes, are very emotional, and I'm sure it takes a while to come down from them. I'm curious, what you and the cast did to unwind when you were done filming for the day.
Well, luckily we were on a gorgeous Greek island.
So gorgeous.
Yeah. So our winding down was basically jumping into the sea, having a glass of champagne and some chips, and having a huge sing-song. That was it. It was a real hardship.
I know, it was nice to be in such a beautiful island during the pandemic, I'm sure. Well, last question for you, working with an actor as a director, someone who knows what it's like to be in front of the camera. I'm curious, just, something that Maggie taught you that you're always going to carry on as your career as an artist, since she's been in the camera so many times. This is her first directorial feature film. What did you learn from her, and something that you'll carry with you?
I learned a lot on this job. I feel like I grew up as a woman on this job. And it wasn't necessarily as an actor or a director from Maggie. It was just who she is as a woman and the fact that she is unapologetic and is kind of curious to discover and expose the truth of what it is to be a woman in the world. And not to, she always would tell me, just like, dared me to jump off the cliff and to be hungry for the life that you don't know you have in you yet. And that's who she is as a woman. So yeah, that.
Yeah, no, well, I love the film so much. I appreciate your time so much today, and I can't wait for fans to see it when it's out on Netflix on December 31st. I love you so much in Wild Rose. Jessie, this was an honor. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.